Hello everybody, welcome back to Fairview. This weekend we have hit a fairly amazing milestone. We've hit 100 subscribers and I'm absolutely blown away by that. Thank you very much to everybody who's been watching and following along with my videos so far. And I thought that I would kind of celebrate now by sharing with you my loco roster. And here's where it all began. My very first North American loco was a Southern Pacific liveried SD39, a model by Athen Genesis, with a DCC sound decoder factory fitted. A couple of months ago I patched it out for the UP. That's not quite prototypical because I don't believe any of the SD39s that were Southern Pacific locos ever became patched like this, but I gave it the fictitious running number 2018 to commemorate the year that I started building my layout. The vast majority of my locos I've bought second hand. This is an Athen Blue Box SD60 Mac with DCC sound pre-installed. It's a good heavy loco, runs pretty well, but it's got the older red warning stripe on the sill, so that's something which at some point I think I need to look at. This consist is going to be pulling my BNSF coal train. In the lead there is the first of my scale trains rivet counter locos. This is one which I bought new on a trip to the USA back in 2019. I was on a work trip but was able to have a layover of a couple of days with my family in Boulder, and while I was there I got this gorgeous BNSF liveried scale trains ET44C4. It has ESU lock sound decoder on board. It's heavy, its pulling power is great, and it makes for a very fitting head end loco in this consist. So the second loco in the consist is this Athen Blue Box model which I bought a couple of years ago now. It was pre-fitted with a non-sound TCS decoder. A nice bit of toasting there from the exhaust having caught fire at some point. And this is the loco which I was showing in last month's update. Still not quite finished adding all the details, but this is a lovely Kato model. I've added a Soundtrax Econami sound decoder to it, and this is an SD70 Mac, and that consists together running pretty nicely now, so I'm pleased with that overall. Let's have a look at the first of my Canadian consists next. In the front there is an Athen Genesis ES44AC. This one is factory fitted with a Tsunami 2 sound decoder, and it's just beautiful detail, great hauler, the sounds are fantastic, all round brilliant. And then I paired it here with a much older Athen model, an Athen, one of these ready to roll series. This is another AC44CW loco, which is one which I did get second hand fairly recently. It's got an aftermarket decoder fitted by the previous owner. I'm not quite sure what the decoder is, it's non-sound, but these two run together quite nicely, and in due course I want this to be able to haul a nice long potash train. I haven't got many of the potash wagons at the moment because they don't seem to be very easy to get hold of over here in the UK. What we have here posed in front of Rocky Mountain Manufacturing is a trio of Athen AC44CW or ES44AC locomotives. The lead loco 5356 is the ES44AC. This consist is going to be my fast through freight for Union Pacific, roaring through the town with a big long chain of cars behind it. All three of these were purchased second hand. 5356 is the newest of the three and came pre-fitted with a Soundtrax Tsunami decoder. Runs very nicely. Following it, 6200 has a non-sound decoder in it. I'm not sure what the manufacturer was, but these two have matched pretty well, so they run together nicely. And then 6378 at the back there, well, actually that's a dummy these days. That was one which I bought needing quite a lot of work. Technically it had a non-sound decoder in it, but it wasn't running at all well, and that was the very first one which I patched and weathered. So that's a dummy which just hangs off the back of this consist. And those three. Now these two locos are not consisted together. In fact, as you'll see, they're slight odd bods at the moment, but I've just put them together on the track for convenience sake to introduce them to you. First of all, here we have Canadian Pacific liveried 8546, a AC44CW model. It's an old Athen model. It was one of the earlier ones I bought. I got it very cheap. It has got a decoder in it, non-sound decoder. And as you can probably see, I don't even need to really zoom in all that close, I don't think. You can probably see its handrails have got really quite badly warped, so at some stage I've got to work out how to replace them. But because it was cheap, it was one of the very first locos I tried to weather. Just dirt and road grime along the sides. Have I lost focus there? And lots of soot and deposits on the roof and streaking. But then if I come round to the head end of these two, this is one of my locos which is a real pride and joy. This is another ES44AC, but this is an Intermountain model, and it's got a Soundtrax Tsunami decoder fitted. And I really like these Intermountain locos. They almost have the weight and the heft of the Athen Genesis, or even of the Scale Trains locos. I think they're the heaviest of the ones I've bought so far, at least. But got all the, to my mind, the same level of detailing, all the function options that you'd expect as well in terms of the decoder, with all the different lighting and sound options. And you might be pleased to know that. So all that's left is to show you some of my DC locos, and I've got two Canadian National locos, both Athen models, old models now really. Again, these are models which I picked up quite cheap early on when I was getting into the hobby. Both these models are -9s, -9 44Ws according to my little crib card, 2509 and its sibling 2727 there. Pootle around quite happily on the upper deck for the moment, but I like how you've got the two different CN logos there, the one with the map of North America behind the noodle, and then the second one has the website address underneath the noodle there, so that makes for a nice contrast. So last but not least, my final DC locomotive is this Athen ready to roll AC44CW, running number 8533, and again this one in the rather distinctive CP Golden Beaver logo. With it being one of the older Athen models, again it's a bit basic both in terms of details, perhaps by modern standards, and rolling qualities, but it's quite happy here on the upper deck now that I've completed that. Alright, that gives you a good idea of my full roster. All the locos in my collection at the moment. I guess like nearly all railway modelers, I've ended up buying more than I need for the size of my layout room. Really, I should just be doing a tiny little shunting layout. But of course, in many ways, that would defeat the point of why I've built this layout. I wanted it to be a kind of a living memory of my trips to the USA and to Canada. I wanted to be able to sit here in my little garage and just do a bit of rail fanning. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for subscribing to my YouTube channel, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit the subscribe button to get updates as progress continues on my Fairview HO model railroad. Thanks very much for watching, enjoy your model making, and see you soon.